What's up everybody? Josh, starterraingutterbusiness.com. Got something new to show you today. So we got this customer, this is a pole barn, and we have just a gutter going across here, open-ended, kind of overshooting, and they've been changing their landscaping out here. And so what we're doing is just going ahead and putting an end cap on this end. We're gonna repitch this that way, punch a hole in, put a downspout on. So I'm gonna show you guys my favorite and what I think is the easiest way to repitch a longer gutter like this by yourself. So super simple, and follow along. So I'm gonna start out by hacking this end off and putting the end cap on. So I'll loosen these first few hangers and just leave the screws out of them. That gives me room to kind of pry this away from the building and gives me some room to work with, get my crimpers on there and make it all work. Okay, so before I put this end cap on, these are kind of hard to cut straight, so I always just try to kind of clean them up a little bit before I crimp the end cap on. It all gets hidden anyways, but make sure it's nice and straight. And then I got this kind of dried out. It was a little wet this morning, so and I'll just kind of, this gutter's been up for a few years, so just kind of rough it up, clean all the dirt off of there, and then that'll let that new glue stick good. So I got it crimped on there just like normal. Now I'll go ahead and put the glue in like normal, using our trusty GeoCell 2320, found in our link below. So depending on how long these are, what I do is just unscrew all of the hangers except for leave like 1 or 2 tacks, depending on how you want it to adjust. So this one I can just use those screws as like a helping hand. So I can just undo, what I'll do is leave a screw about 8 feet in on each side, undo all the rest of the screws, and then I can just go to that screw I left in on each side and raise the one side, lower the other side, and then just level it like normal. So now I just have 1 screw left, or 2 screws left, one on about 8 feet in from each end. So the whole middle and the ends are all loose. So now all I gotta do is just use this one, pop the screw out. I'll just lower it like, I don't know, 1/2 inch, something like that. And it's just a tack, so just kind of give me just to hold the end for me basically. Make it a little easier to level is why I dropped it. One thing to keep in mind on these pole barns is I always try to go inside. A lot of times they're left unfinished inside when we're there. So they build them so many different ways and you can't tell what's behind that tin, like whether they have a board there or just rafter tails sticking out with like metal covering them. But I always try to go inside and get a good idea of the board that's on the inside of like that eave area, so I can figure out what I'm going to screw to and what screws I need to use. Sometimes you need a little longer ones, or if it's like a steel built, like a steel framed building, pole barn style, they're a lot tougher to deal with. So hopefully you never have to put gutters on one of those. So another thing about repitching old gutters is a lot of times there's a bunch of junk, or could be like dents from tree branches or whatever. So a lot of times instead of trying to level from the inside, because it's pretty dirty, I'll just line my level up with the back of the gutter and check it from down here. It makes it a little easier rather than having to like clean all the little dust and stuff out of there. Keeps your level cleaner. Pro tip, another tip on these steel-sided buildings, if you have to attach the gutter to this ribbed siding, I always try to line the hangers up with the ribs, and that gives you a nice exposed face to tighten the hanger and screw into, so your gutter ends up straighter as a final result. So that gives you, you're tightening that gutter into the face of this rib. So my hanger's lined up right with the center of that rib. You drill through it, and it tightens to the face of these ribs. If you move it, put it in the center, then depending on how tight you make the screw, that whole face gets super wavy. So something to keep in mind on these steel-sided buildings. So when I go to level this thing across here, I just kind of do it in like 5-foot sections with the level. So it's a seamless gutter, but in your head, cut it into like 5-foot sections. So I started from over there. My last screw is right here. So I'll go about 5 feet and then level in between that fixed point and this hanger. Tack this hanger in, and then the hangers in between are good to go. You don't have to re-level for each individual hanger. A lot of times that can take forever if you're trying to level in between each hanger, because the gutter does flex a little bit and whatever. So made it to the other end of the gutter here. This is where our downspout's going. I'm gonna leave this loose for now. That'll leave me room to get my punch in there, or if you're hole sawing or whatever. It's nice to have it loose so that way you have a little bit of room to work with there. I'll leave it loose, grab my hole punch, and we'll be finished. So one thing to keep in mind, especially on these pole barns, a lot of times they're just flush. So I try to punch this hole flush with the back of the gutter. That way you can just literally slide your downspout right up to the X punch there. Attach it, don't have to do any ledge jumpers or anything, and then just elbow at the bottom. Makes them a little cleaner and stronger. Okay, now I'll just level this last little bit. And there you have it, how to re-level a gutter. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment below. That gives us a lot of ideas for new videos. And like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you never had to put gutters on one of those. And he's probably sitting there with his buddy watching the video together, and they're like, oh no!